The Galactic Council's warning. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with an energy that hadn't been felt in millennia. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted nervously in their seats, their varied anatomies a testament to the diversity of life in the cosmos. At the center of the chamber, a holographic display flickered to life, showing a small, unremarkable blue planet. Earth. High Counselor Zixnath, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure, pulsed with an urgent glow. Esteemed colleagues, their voice resonated through the minds of all present. We face a threat unlike any we have encountered in our long history. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. What could possibly threaten a galactic civilization that had achieved peace and prosperity for eons? Humans, Zixnath continued, the word falling like a stone in a still pond. A species so young they have barely left their cradle, yet they possess qualities that defy our understanding of the universe. Images flashed across the holographic display. Humans building monuments with primitive tools, fashioning weapons from the bones of long-dead creatures, harnessing the power of the atom, and taking their first tentative steps into space. But surely, interjected Ambassador Krell of the Arcturian Collective, his tentacles writhing with skepticism, such a primitive species cannot pose a threat to us. Zixnath's crystalline form pulsed red. That is precisely the danger, Ambassador. They are unpredictable, adaptable, and possess a drive that borders on madness. Where we see insurmountable obstacles, they see challenges to be overcome. Where we counsel patience, they act with reckless abandon. The display shifted to show humans engaged in various activities. Sports that risked life and limb, expeditions to the most inhospitable corners of their world, and simulations of conflicts that had never occurred. They dream of things that cannot be, Zixnath explained, and then they make them real. They imagine terrors lurking in the dark between stars, and instead of cowering, they long to face them. A hush fell over the chamber as the implication sank in. A species that did not know its limits, that did not understand the concept of impossibility. What havoc could they wreak upon the careful balance of the galaxy? Ambassador Elia of the Cyrene Concord, her feathers ruffling with concern, spoke up. What do you propose, High Counselor? Surely we cannot simply destroy them. No, Zixnath replied, their tone heavy with the weight of destiny. We cannot. Our laws forbid the eradication of sentient species, and even if they did not, I fear such an action would only prove their darkest suspicions about the universe correct. The holographic display zoomed out, showing Earth's solar system, then its galactic arm, and finally the entire Milky Way. A tiny dot of light represented humanity's presence, barely visible among the vast swirls of stars and nebulae. We must contain them, Zixnath declared, isolate their world, and limit their expansion. Perhaps in time, they will mature, learn the value of cooperation over conflict, of harmony over discord. But even as the High Counselor spoke, doubt crept into the minds of many present. How does one contain a species that thrives on breaking boundaries? In the shadows of the chamber, unnoticed by most, sat observer Kaya, representative of the enigmatic Watchers. Her kind had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and she knew better than most the folly of underestimating young races. As she listened to the Council's deliberations, a small smile played across her lips. They fear you, she whispered, her words meant for ears light years away. As well they should. As the Council debated measures to restrict human expansion, to redirect their attention inward through subtle manipulations, Kaya's mind raced with possibilities. The humans were a wild card in a game that had grown stagnant. Win or lose, their entry onto the galactic stage promised to shatter the complacency that had gripped the elder races for too long. Days passed, and finally, a resolution was reached. The Galactic Council would issue a directive to all spacefaring races. Earth and its surrounding systems were to be declared off-limits. No contact, no trade, no interference of any kind. Let the humans remain in blissful ignorance of the greater community that surrounded them. As the assembly dispersed, Zixnath approached Kaya, their crystalline form dimmed with exhaustion. "You've been unusually quiet, observer. What do your millennia of watching tell you about our decision?" Kaya's eyes, swirling pools of starlight, met Zixnath's gaze. "I think, High Counselor, that you have just ensured the very thing you sought to prevent. Humanity will not be contained. They will not be ignored. And when they discover the truth, that they have been deliberately isolated, their reaction will shake the foundations of this council." Zixnath's form flickered with alarm. "What would you have us do? Allow them free rein to rampage across the stars?" "Perhaps," Kaya replied, her voice tinged with amusement. "It is not they who need to change, but us. We have grown complacent, set in our ways. The humans, for all their flaws, remember what it means to strive, to dream, to reach beyond their grasp." As Kaya turned to leave, she left Zixnath with a final chilling thought. "The Council fears the humans because they are a mirror, High Counselor. They show us what we once were, and what we could be again. The real question is not whether humanity is ready for the galaxy, but whether the galaxy is ready for humanity." The chamber, now empty save for Zixnath, seemed to echo with the weight of Kaya's words. The High Counselor gazed once more at the holographic display, at the tiny blue planet that had thrown the mighty Galactic Council into such disarray. "May the cosmos have mercy on us all," Zixnath whispered, "if we have chosen poorly this day." As the lights dimmed in the council chamber, across the vast expanse of space, on a planet called Earth, a child looked up at the night sky and wondered what adventures awaited among the stars. Unaware of the momentous decision that had just been made, humanity continued to dream, to strive, and to prepare for a future they could scarcely imagine. A future that, despite the Galactic Council's best efforts, was rushing to meet them faster than anyone could have predicted. The Valerian's decision. Admiral Zarkov stood at the viewport of the Valerian flagship, Eternal Dominion, his 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Milky Way. A red dot pulsed quietly in one of the spiral arms. Earth, the world that had thrown the Galactic Council into such disarray. His upper lip curled in disdain, revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth. "Fears and fairy tales," he muttered, his voice a low growl that reverberated through the command deck. The mighty Galactic Council, trembling at the thought of hairless eights. Behind him, the bridge crew worked in efficient silence, their 6-fingered hands dancing over control panels. The Valerians had not achieved dominion over a quarter of the galaxy by cowering before unknown threats. They had conquered, adapted, and grown stronger with each victory. Sub-Commander Vex approached, her exoskeleton clicking softly against the polished floor. "Admiral, we've received the latest intelligence reports on the human defenses. They are primitive, to say the least." Zarkov turned, his massive frame dwarfing the slender Vex. "Show me." A new hologram sprang to life, displaying Earth's rudimentary orbital stations, a handful of lunar outposts, and a smattering of probes venturing timidly into the solar system. Zarkov let out a bark of laughter that caused several crew members to flinch. This is what has the Council quaking in their environmental suits. Pathetic." Vex's antennae twitched nervously. "With respect, Admiral, the Council's warning was quite explicit. The humans are said to possess unconventional abilities." Zarkov waved a dismissive hand. "Abilities? What abilities could they possibly have that would threaten us? We, who have harnessed the power of stars. We, who have bent the fabric of space-time to our will." He strode to the center of the bridge, his voice rising with each step. "No, Sub-Commander. The Council has grown soft, too long at peace. They've forgotten the thrill of conquest, the glory of empire building. But we Valerians remember, and we will not be deterred by ghost stories and exaggerated tales." The Admiral's words stirred something in the crew. Backs straightened, eyes gleamed with anticipation. This was why they had joined the fleet, not for the tedious patrols of established territory, but for the promise of new worlds to conquer. "Prepare the invasion fleet," Zarkov commanded. "We will show these humans, and the Council, what true galactic power looks like." As the Valerian war machine churned into action light years away on Earth, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the storm gathering on the cosmic horizon. In the headquarters of the newly formed United Earth Space Command, General Maria Chen pored over reports of anomalous readings from the long-range sensor arrays. "Dr. Okoro," she called out, her voice tight with tension. "Are you seeing this?" The Nigerian astrophysicist hurried over, his lab coat fluttering. He peered at the data streams, his brow furrowing. "It can't be," he muttered. "The gravitational distortions, they're like nothing we've ever encountered." Chen's eyes hardened. Could it be them? The visitors we've been preparing for? Okoro nodded slowly. "If our theories are correct, if the artifacts we've discovered are any indication, yes, this could very well be first contact." A heavy silence fell over the command center. For decades, humanity had debated the existence of extraterrestrial life. They had sent out messages to the stars, listened for any sign of intelligence in the cosmic background noise. And now, it seemed, they had their answer. General Chen straightened, her voice cutting through the tension. "Initiate Protocol Omega. I want every satellite, every telescope, every sensor we have pointed at that distortion, and get me the Secretary General. It's time to wake up the world." As alarms began to blare and the machinery of Earth's defenses groaned to life, Shan allowed herself a moment of grim reflection. They had hoped for peaceful contact, for an exchange of knowledge and culture. But deep in her gut, she knew this was not a diplomatic mission approaching their world. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Admiral Zarkov watched with satisfaction as the invasion fleet assembled. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, formed up in perfect formation. It was a display of military might that had cowed countless civilizations. "Sir," Vex reported, "the fleet is ready. We await your command." Zarkov's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "You see, Sub-Commander, no mysterious forces have struck us down. No cosmic judgment has fallen upon us for daring to challenge the Council's edict." He turned to the viewport, watching as the fleet engaged their faster-than-light drives, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time. The humans will fall, as all others have before them, and the Valerian Empire will grow stronger for it. As the invasion force hurtled through the void, leaving a wake of twisted space behind them, Zarkov allowed himself to imagine the accolades that awaited him. He would be the one to prove the Council wrong, to show the galaxy that the Valerians feared nothing and no one. But even as he reveled in his anticipated victory, a small voice in the back of his mind whispered a warning. What if the Council was right? What if there was something different about these humans? He silenced the doubt with a growl. It was too late for second thoughts. The die was cast. The fleet was moving, and soon the humans would learn the price of drawing the attention of powers beyond their comprehension. Little did Zarkov know that on Earth, in secret bunkers and hidden laboratories, humanity was about to reveal that they were far more than the primitive apes he believed them to be. As two civilizations hurtled towards a collision that would shape the fate of the galaxy, one question remained. Who, truly, was unprepared for what was to come? The first signs of the Valerian approach came not as ships appearing in the sky, but as a series of inexplicable phenomena across Earth. Compasses spun wildly, migratory animals changed course, and for a brief moment, the aurora borealis was visible even at the equator. In the UN Security Council chamber, hastily convened for an emergency session, General Chen's voice rang out with cold clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't mince words. We are facing an extraterrestrial incursion on an unprecedented scale. Our long-range sensors indicate a fleet of unknown origin and immense power approaching our solar system. The chamber erupted into chaos. Accusations of fear-mongering clashed with demands for immediate military action. It was only when Dr. Okoro stepped forward, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the panic around him, That silence fell once more. "We've suspected this day might come," he said, his voice steady. "And we have prepared. Project Prometheus is ready." A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. Project Prometheus, the top-secret initiative that had consumed vast resources and pushed the boundaries of human scientific understanding. Many had questioned its necessity, calling it a waste of time and money. Now, as the Valerian fleet approached and humanity stood on the precipice of either its greatest triumph or its final hour, those doubts evaporated like mist in the morning sun. General Chen's eyes met Dr. Okuro's, a silent understanding passing between them. With a nod, she turned back to the council. "Ladies and gentlemen, the time for debate is over. We face an existential threat. But make no mistake, humanity will not go quietly into the night. We will fight, we will survive, and we will show these invaders that they have made a grave miscalculation." As the governments of Earth mobilized their forces and the public grappled with the earth-shattering news of impending alien contact, deep beneath the surface of an unassuming mountain, Project Prometheus hummed to life. Machines beyond current scientific understanding spun up, drawing power from sources that defied conventional physics. Humanity had long prepared for this moment, driven by an instinct honed through millennia of looking up at the stars with equal parts wonder and wariness. Now, as an alien armada approached with dreams of easy conquest, they were about to learn a lesson that countless earthly empires had learned before them. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. Humanity's unexpected response. The Valerian fleet burst into real space at the edge of the solar system, a swarm of metal and energy that blotted out the stars. Admiral Zarkoth stood triumphant on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his 4 eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Behold," he rumbled, gesturing to the holographic display of the solar system, "the playground of these terrifying humans. Prepare for orbital bombardment. Let's show them the price of drawing the attention of their betters." But as the fleet moved inward, something unexpected happened. The void around them came alive with energy signatures, far more advanced than anything their initial scans had detected. Sub-Commander Vex's antennae twitched nervously. "Admiral, we're detecting anomalies, gravitational distortions, quantum fluctuations. This level of technology wasn't in any of our intelligence reports." Zarkoth's triumphant grin faltered. "Impossible. They're barely out of their gravity well. They can't possibly." His words were cut short as the space around the Valerian fleet erupted in a dazzling display of light and energy. Swarms of sleek, silver craft materialized from seemingly nowhere, their designs unlike anything the Valerians had encountered before. On Earth, in the heart of Project Prometheus, Dr. Okuro watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The quantum entanglement viewer showed a real-time image of humanity's secret fleet engaging the alien armada. "It's working," he breathed, barely daring to believe it. "The phase shift drives, the dark matter cannons, they're all functioning perfectly." General Chen stood beside him, her face a mask of determination. "And the Nexus, is it operational?" Okuro nodded, leading her to a massive, pulsing sphere of energy at the center of the facility. "The Nexus is online. It's coordinating our entire defense network, processing information, and making tactical decisions faster than any human or AI ever could." The Nexus was humanity's crowning achievement, a semi-organic quantum computer that operated on principles that blurred the line between science and science fiction. It was the culmination of decades of reverse engineering alien artifacts found buried beneath the Earth's surface, combined with humanity's relentless drive to push the boundaries of the possible. In orbit around Earth, the crew of the HSS Defiant watched in awe as their ship, along with hundreds of others, danced through space with impossible agility. Captain Yuki Tanaka gripped her command chair, still adjusting to the sensation of the phase shift drive. "Status report," she barked, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. Her XO, Commander Rafael Cortez, responded with a hint of excitement in his voice. Our dark matter cannons are proving effective, Captain. Valerian shields are strong, but they can't stop what they can't detect or deflect. Tanaka allowed herself a grim smile. The element of surprise had given them an edge, but the Valerians were quickly adapting. The real test was yet to come. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Admiral Zarkov raged at his subordinates. How is this possible? They were supposed to be primitives, savages. Vex, to her credit, remained calm in the face of her superior's fury. Sir, we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our databases. They're weapons. They're bypassing our shields as if they weren't even there. Zarkov snarled, slamming a fist on his command console. Enough. Bring the World Breaker online. If we can't conquer this system, we'll reduce it to cosmic dust. Deep within the Eternal Dominion, ancient machinery grown to life. The World Breaker, a weapon of last resort, capable of shattering planets and extinguishing stars. As the massive weapon began to charge, alarms blared throughout the human fleet. The Nexus, processing data at speeds beyond human comprehension, formulated a response in microseconds. In the Project Prometheus control room, Dr. Okoro's eyes widened as he interpreted the Nexus's output. General, they're powering up some kind of superweapon. The Nexus is suggesting. My God. Chen leaned in, her voice urgent. What is it, Doctor? The Singularity Protocol, Okoro whispered, his voice a mix of awe and fear. We always theorized it was possible, but the energy requirements, the risks. Chen's jaw set in a hard line. Can it stop their weapon? Okoro nodded slowly. If it works, yes. But the consequences, we'd be changing the rules of physics itself, at least locally. There's no telling what might happen. For a moment, the weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. Then Chen straightened, her voice firm. The fate of our entire species hangs in the balance, Doctor. Authorize the Singularity Protocol. As Okoro's fingers flew over the control panel, initiating sequences that would make even the most advanced physicists' head spin, the battle above Earth reached a fever pitch. The Valerian World Breaker pulsed with ominous energy, reality itself seeming to warp around it. But just as it reached critical charge, a ripple passed through space-time, emanating from Earth. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Zarkov watched in horror as his mighty fleet began to disintegrate. Ships twisted and warped, pulled apart by forces beyond his comprehension. The laws of physics themselves seemed to be rewriting themselves in real time. What manner of demons are these humans? He roared, even as his own flagship began to break apart around him. In the chaos of the disintegrating Valerian fleet, the human ships danced unscathed, protected by technology born of human ingenuity and alien secrets long buried beneath the earth. As the last of the Valerian ships winked out of existence, pulled into a localized singularity that collapsed in on itself moments later, an eerie silence fell over the solar system. Captain Tanaka of the Defiant let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Status report, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Commander Cortez checked his readings, his voice filled with disbelief. Enemy fleet, neutralized, Captain. No survivors detected. Our losses are minimal. Back on Earth, in the heart of Project Prometheus, General Chen and Dr. Okoro stood in stunned silence, watching as the quantum entanglement viewer showed the aftermath of the battle. We did it, Okoro said, his voice filled with wonder. We actually did it. Chen nodded, her expression a mix of relief and grim determination. We've won the battle, Doctor, but something tells me the war is far from over. As the dust settled and humanity began to grapple with the implications of their victory, one thing became clear. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, but had emerged as a force to be reckoned with. In the deepest reaches of space, on worlds unimaginably distant, news of the Valerian defeat spread like wildfire. The impossible had happened. A young race, barely out of its cradle, had defeated one of the mightiest fleets in the galaxy. The age of human isolation was over. Whether the rest of the galaxy was ready or not, humanity had arrived on the cosmic stage, and they had made one hell of an entrance. The Valerian Dilemma. In the smoldering aftermath of the battle, the Valerian Empire found itself in unprecedented chaos. News of their defeat spread through quantum entanglement channels, igniting a firestorm of panic, disbelief, and outrage across their vast territories. On Valeria Prime, the imposing capital world of the Empire, the High Council convened in an emergency session. The circular chamber, usually a place of measured debate and calculated decisions, now roiled with tension and fear. High Councilor Zexera, her scales a dull gray from stress, addressed the assembly. The unthinkable has happened. Our invincible armada, led by our finest admiral, has been utterly destroyed by a species we deemed primitive. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the gathered councilors. One voice rose above the rest, belonging to War Minister Kralvox. Impossible. There must be some mistake. Perhaps it was a trap set by the Galactic Council. Zexera's eyes narrowed. We've confirmed it through multiple sources. The humans possess technology far beyond our understanding. They've weaponized principles of physics we thought purely theoretical. The chamber erupted into chaos. Accusations flew, blame was cast, and more than a few calls for immediate retaliation echoed off the vaulted ceilings. Silence. Zexera's voice cut through the din like a plasma blade. We cannot afford to act rashly. The humans have proven themselves far more dangerous than we ever imagined. We need to reassess our entire strategy. As the Valerian leadership grappled with their new reality, ripples of their defeat spread across the galaxy. On countless worlds, in the hidden enclaves of subjugated species, and the secretive meetings of resistance movements, hope began to bloom. On Earth, the aftermath of victory brought its own challenges. The UN Security Council, now expanded to include representatives from every nation, debated furiously about the path forward. General Chen, now hailed as the savior of humanity, stood before them. We've revealed ourselves to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. There's no going back to isolation. We need to prepare for what comes next. Dr. Okoro, looking haggard but determined, added his voice to the discussion. The Singularity Protocol exceeded our wildest expectations, but it's also drawn a target on our backs. Every advanced civilization out there will be wondering how we achieved what we did. As humanity debated its future, the Valerian Empire faced a crisis of confidence. Reports flooded in from the fringes of their territory. Subject races were revolting, emboldened by the news of Valerian vulnerability. In a secure bunker deep beneath the surface of Valeria Prime, a group of military hardliners gathered in secret. General Vexcor, a grizzled veteran of 100 campaigns, addressed his co-conspirators. The High Council is weak, he growled. They would have us sue for peace, to reach out to these humans diplomatically. His mouth twisted in disgust. I say we strike back, harder than ever before. We cannot allow this humiliation to stand. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled officers. Plans were hatched, alliances formed, and a shadow of civil war loomed over the Valerian Empire. Back on Earth, in the heart of Project Prometheus, alarms blared. Dr. Okoro rushed to the main control center, his eyes widening as he interpreted the data streaming across the screens. General Chen, he called out. The Nexus is picking up massive quantum disturbances. It looks like, my God, it's a civil war. The Valerian Empire is tearing itself apart. Chen's brow furrowed as she absorbed the implications. This could be an opportunity, but it's also incredibly dangerous. A cornered enemy is often the most desperate. As if in response to her words, new alerts flashed across the screens. The Nexus, its vast intelligence sifting through the chaos of galactic communications, had detected something troubling. General, Okoro's voice was tight with tension. We're picking up transmissions from multiple sources. It seems the Valerians weren't the only ones watching our battle. Half the galaxy is talking about us now. Chen's jaw set in a grim line. And what are they saying, Doctor? Okoro swallowed hard. It's a mix. Some see us as liberators, a force that could upset the balance of power. Others. He trailed off, his eyes fixed on the screen. Others. Chen prompted. They're scared, General. Terrified, even. The way we defeated the Valerians, the technology we displayed. Some are calling for a preemptive strike against Earth before we become too powerful to contain. The weight of the situation settled heavily on Chen's shoulders. Humanity had hoped for a peaceful first contact, for a gradual integration into the galactic community. Instead, they found themselves thrust onto the cosmic stage in the most dramatic way possible, surrounded by civilizations that now viewed them with a mixture of fear, awe, and opportunistic interest. In the Galactic Council chambers, far from Earth and Valeria Prime, High Counselor Zix-Nath watched the unfolding chaos with a mixture of vindication and dread. Their warnings about humanity had been proven right, but at what cost? As reports flooded in from across the galaxy, of empires mobilizing fleets, of ancient alliances fracturing, of long subjugated races rising up in rebellion, Zix-Nath came to a grim realization. The galaxy stood on the brink of a conflict unlike any in living memory, with humanity at its center. In that moment, as civilizations that had known peace for millennia prepared for war, as humanity grappled with its newfound power and the responsibilities it brought, as the Valerian Empire teetered on the edge of civil war, one thing became crystal clear. The age of stability was over. A new era of galactic history was dawning, shaped by the actions of a species that mere days ago much of the galaxy had dismissed as insignificant. As General Chen stared at the holographic display, showing the growing chaos spreading across the Milky Way, she couldn't help but think of an old Earth saying, "Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it." Humanity had long dreamed of reaching the stars, of taking its place among cosmic civilizations. Now, for better or worse, that dream had become reality. And the entire galaxy would never be the same again. A new galactic order. The Milky Way hung in delicate balance, a galaxy on the brink of chaos. In the span of mere weeks, humanity had gone from an isolated species to the fulcrum upon which the fate of countless civilizations now teetered. The next moves would determine the course of galactic history for millennia to come. On Earth, in a hastily constructed chamber designed to host representatives from across the planet, the newly formed Human Galactic Council convened. General Chen, now serving as Earth's primary diplomat to the stars, addressed the assembly. "We stand at a crossroads." Her voice carried the weight of recent events. "Our victory against the Valerians was necessary for our survival, but it has cast us in a light we never anticipated. We are seen as liberators by some, conquerors by others, and a threat by many." Dr. Okoro, now heading a global initiative to understand and expand upon the alien technologies that had saved humanity, stepped forward. "The Nexus has been working overtime, processing data from across the galaxy. We've received communications from over 1,000 species in the past week alone. Some offer alliance, others demand explanations, and a worrying number are calling for our immediate containment or destruction." The chamber buzzed with tension. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but the reality was far more complex and dangerous than anyone had imagined. President Amara Okafor of the African Union rose to speak. "We cannot retreat into isolation again. Like it or not, we are now players on the galactic stage. We must engage, but on our terms. We must show the galaxy that we are neither conquerors nor a threat to be neutralized." As Earth debated its path forward, the Valerian Empire continued to fracture. The hardliner faction, led by General Vexcor, had seized control of significant military assets and was calling for immediate retaliation against Earth. The more moderate elements of Valerian society, however, saw an opportunity for change. In a bold move that shocked many, High Counselor Zexera reached out directly to Earth, bypassing the traditional channels of the Galactic Council. Her message was clear. The Valerians sought peace, and more importantly, understanding. "We have been humbled." Zexera's holographic form addressed the human Galactic Council. "For too long, we Valerians believed might made right. Your species has shown us the error of our ways. We do not ask for forgiveness, but for a chance to forge a new path together." The offer of peace from one of the galaxy's most notorious conquering species sent shockwaves through interstellar society. Many saw it as a trick, a Valerian ploy to buy time. Others recognized it as a once-in-a-millennium opportunity to reshape galactic politics. As humanity deliberated on the Valerian offer, other factions made their moves. A coalition of younger spacefaring races, inspired by Earth's victory, reached out with offers of alliance. They saw in humanity a potential protector against the older, more established galactic powers. Meanwhile, those very powers were not idle. The Arcturian Collective, the Cyrene Concord, and other ancient civilizations watched the unfolding events with growing concern. Their representatives argued fiercely in the Galactic Council chambers, debating whether to extend a hand of friendship to Earth or to nip this potential threat in the bud. High Counselor Sixnath found themselves in a precarious position. Their warnings about humanity had been proven correct, but now they faced the monumental task of preventing a galactic war while integrating a new, wildly unpredictable player into the cosmic order. Back on Earth, the Nexus hummed with activity, processing scenarios and predicting outcomes faster than any human mind could comprehend. It was the Nexus that first detected the approaching fleet. Not Valerian, not from any known galactic power, but something else entirely. Alarms blared in the Project Prometheus facility. Dr. Okuro's eyes widened as he interpreted the data. "General Chen, we have multiple contacts approaching the solar system. Their energy signatures, they're like nothing we've ever seen." Chen rushed to the command center, her mind racing. Had they triggered some failsafe of the Galactic Old Guard? Was this the judgment of some heretofore unknown cosmic entity? As the unknown fleet approached, a message was broadcast across all frequencies, in every known language of Earth. "Children of Terra, you have taken your first steps into a larger world. We have watched your species since you first looked up at the stars with wonder. You have been tested, and you have proven yourselves worthy. It is time for you to take your place among the guardians of the galaxy." The message was signed simply, "The Watchers." In that moment, as an ancient and hidden force revealed itself, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity, in the span of a few short weeks, had not only survived its trial by fire, but had attracted the attention of powers beyond their wildest imagination. The emergence of the Watchers reshaped the galactic landscape overnight. Their endorsement of humanity as worthy galactic citizens quelled much of the fear and warmongering that had been building. The Valerian peace offer, seen in this new light, was accepted, marking the beginning of a transformative alliance. In the months and years that followed, Earth became a nexus of galactic diplomacy. The technology that had saved humanity from the Valerian invasion was cautiously shared, ushering in an era of unprecedented scientific cooperation across the stars. The Human Galactic Council, with input from the Nexus and guidance from more experienced races, navigated the complex waters of interstellar politics with a mixture of caution and bold innovation that became humanity's hallmark. 5 years after the Valerian invasion, at a ceremony marking Earth's formal induction into the Galactic Council, General Chen, now Ambassador Chen, reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. "We came to the stars carrying the weight of our history, our triumphs and our mistakes, our hopes and our fears," she addressed the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. "We found a galaxy full of wonders and dangers beyond our imagining, but we also found that the qualities that defined us on Earth, our adaptability, our determination, our capacity for both conflict and cooperation, these were our true strengths." She paused, looking out at the diverse array of beings before her. We do not know what challenges tomorrow may bring, but we face them not as humans alone, but as part of a greater galactic community. Together, we will write the next chapter of cosmic history. As Chen's words echoed through the chamber, across the galaxy, beings of all shapes and sizes looked to the stars with renewed wonder. The arrival of humanity had shaken the foundations of galactic society, but from that upheaval, a new order was emerging, more dynamic, more inclusive, and perhaps more ready to face the unknown challenges lurking in the vast cosmic ocean. The age of isolation was over. The age of galactic citizenship had begun, and humanity, for better or worse, was at the heart of it all. In the depths of space, unnoticed by most, observer Kaya of the Watchers smiled to herself. "Well played, humans," she whispered. "Well played indeed. The real test is just beginning." And with that, the stars continued their eternal dance, indifferent to the dramas unfolding in their light. Dramas that would shape the destiny of countless beings across the vast expanse of the Milky Way and beyond.